And we are back, people. You're still on To Wake Up Nigeria. It's time for our relationship segment. And of course, we have Ola Soetan with us. He's a marriage and relationship coach, public speaker, and writer with a community of followers online where he gives practical and relatable marriage hacks for couples. And today, he'll be helping us understand and talk about understanding and managing possessiveness in marriage. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Good
Our relationship sessions have been amazing all through this.
Oh.
Yes. And now we're on to another one. Possessiveness is when did being possessive become a problem. In marriage. It's marriage, not relationship.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
It's adorable. I mean, to be owned. I mean, it feels good even for you need to know that someone who owns you, you belong to someone. I mean, it's something that we desire.
Let's talk about what possessiveness is. Let's establish it so people understand what it
is. All right. Possessiveness is basically having a sense of ownership. Like, I mean, you know that this thing is mine. I possess it. I mean, it's mine. But, I mean, to the degree that you now show that possessiveness, it's when we can begin to say, what's going on here? I mean, we know this thing is yours, but by the way you're going about it, I mean, we are reading other meanings to this. Yes, it's yours, but I mean, you seem like someone is after you. You seem insecure. I mean, it could be. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like you're having a piece of cake that is yours, and you're eating it like. You know, people are coming like, I'm like, are you sure you're okay with, yeah, it's yours, you can take your time. So, I mean, you feel unsafe, basically, and that could show.
All right, so there's a very thin line between possessiveness and jealousy.
Okay.
How do you identify which is which?
Okay, so basically, jealousy is just a signal that you get, your mind gives you when something that you treasure you sense some form of threat to something that you treasure, and it's just something that nudges you to say, hey, you need to take a second look at this. Okay, so it's fine to have those, I mean, those signals, the impulses. It's okay for you to have them, but it is what you do with the information that matters, how you handle that information that matters. It's okay for you to have fear, okay, but what do you do when you're afraid? You know, those are the things that your action and your emotion is going to be judged by. Okay,
now let's talk about the signs to look out for when your partner is being possessive.
Yeah.
Okay, first, before you answer this, is it a bad thing to be possessive? We need to establish it. Is it bad for your partner to be possessive, to have that sense of ownership over you in a marriage?
It is needed because you don't want to be ignored, you don't want to be abandoned. That's why you're there. Okay. And it comes with some form of responsibility. If you have that sense of ownership over me, it comes with its own sense of responsibility. You are responsible to taking care of me, responsible to being there for me. I mean, that's what it shows.
Okay, so is there anything as possessiveness being too much?
Of course.
Like over possessiveness.
Yes, over possessiveness. Okay. I mean, there's a line that you can cross, and we begin to see that, look, this is no longer just you showing ownership. There's something here. This behavior, this act is indicating that you need help. And you know, anything could be a trigger for you from probably your trauma, your past experience. It could trigger that, and you are acting out a different script.
Now, let's talk about the signs so that people watching right now can, you know, can easily relate with it. You know, look at the signs. So let's pick them up, pick them one after the other. What are the signs to look out for in an over-possessive partner?
Okay, so these are the signs to look out for. They become abusive, and it could start with verbal abuse. You know, start saying denigrating things and degrading things, you know. That's how you start. You're not listening. You can hardly understand anything that you're being told, or they are being told. So you know it comes with verbal abuse, and it could get physical. It could get physical, and you know there could be harm and danger. At the end of the day, you can tell that the way this thing is growing, this person is acting out of character.
Okay.
You know, and you can tell and say, oh, the way this thing is going, you're not being gentle, you're not being kind with your words, with your actions. So those are signs, and it's just based on you're doing this to me, you're doing this to me, and at the end of the day, you're hurting your partner. So anything
is that the only sign?
Yeah, those are the signs.
Okay.
Those are the, those are the ways that, they
You
have been
express.
they've been expressed
Okay.
when the person is crossing the line. Because most times it's not like, okay, that's the beginning, of the relationship or the marriage. Start looking at the beginning, and along the line, this person may begin to show these signs. And when this person begins to show the signs that you're not feeling unsafe, you're not feeling insecure, like around them, you don't trust them with yourself, with your life, with certain information again, because you don't want to trigger that action, that negative action from them, then that's the point where you know that, okay, yeah, I think you need attention. There's something here that is not right.
Now, as a partner who's, on the other end, on the receiving end,
Yes.
how do you respond to this and how do you deal with it?
Okay, now it's a very, very careful path to tread, especially when the person who is responsible is still in their own blind spots, is still in their own cocoon. There's nothing you can say at that point in time that will make sense to them, because they don't see themselves as the problem.
Yeah.
They're seeing you as the problem, and they're trying to fix you. They're trying to get rid of you. They think that, okay, if I can just lay my hands on you, man, I think I'll be able to put things in check. I'll be able to, once I solve you, everything will be fine. And that's a worse thing to do.
Okay.
So what you do with those kind of people, you have to be careful, you have to be gentle with them. Most especially, you need help. You can't do it by yourself, because one thing, there's a bias already against you. So you try to come in and, give them whatever form of therapy or anything that you think you want to do. There is a very strong bias against you. So those kind of people have to be led to a professional who can help them. And you don't go about saying, oh, I think you need help. Oh, I think we need help.
We.
Yes.
Underline the word we.
I think we just, just for us to get better. I know, not like we've been doing badly.
Don't point out
what the issue is.
Great.
All right. Don't point out what the issue is. Don't, so I think, because the truth of the matter is that you both need help. Whatever help your partner is getting, you need to be informed as well.
So that you know how to
handle and work with them. All right. So you just like, oh, I think we're not doing terribly bad. I like how we've come so far.
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, yeah.
Great.
So, but I think when we sit down with a professional, we'll get better. And that's
just basically put things in perspective.
Yes, in perspective.
This has been quite an insightful conversation. Ola, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. Of course, the conversation can continue on social media, on your Instagram page. It's right there on your screen, people. If there are any questions that you'd like to ask Ola Soetan, well, you have it there on his Instagram. Contact him and, talk, basically.